welcome to Lesson 5B, Love at Exit 19. In this lesson, we are going to learn in grammar, talking about past habits. So using usually for present habits and used to talk about the past habits. In vocabulary, we're going to learn some words and expressions related to relationships. In pronunciation, we are going to practice some linking and also the letter S, okay? Let's go together. Love at Exit 19. And the lesson starts with this reading activity. So first, how do you think, here in letter A, how do you think people usually meet friends and partners nowadays? So you are going to number the phrases 1 through 5, being 1 the most popular and 5 the least. Then compare with the partner. Okay, so let's see which order would that be for you. All right, fantastic. So this is personal. There's no right or wrong, okay? For activity B, we have read and listen to an article about Sonia Baker and Michael Fazio. Why did their relationship almost never happen? Let's go. So here we have an audio to follow this text, okay? You can follow in your book and I will play it here so you can follow this activity, okay? Let's go. Remember to underline the words you don't know.
3.15 Love at Exit 19. He was a toll booth collector, and she was a soprano who sang in Carnegie Hall. Their eyes met at Exit 19 of the New York State Thruway when he charged her 37 cents. The romance that followed was even less likely than the plot of an opera. Sonia Baker was a frequent commuter from her home in the suburbs to New York City. One day, when she was driving to an audition, she came off the thruway and stopped at the toll booth where Michael Fazio was working. She talked with him as she paid to go through and thought he was cute. For the next 3 months, they used to exchange a few words as she handed him the money, and he raised the barrier to let her pass. It was mostly, "What are you doing today? Where are you going?" she said. They learned more about each other. For example, that Sonia loved Puccini and Verdi, while Michael's love was the New York Yankees. But their conversation suddenly came to an end when Michael changed his working hours. "He used to work during the day," said Sonia, "but he changed to night shifts." Although Michael still looked out for Sonia's white Toyota Corolla, he did not see her again for 6 months. When Michael's working hours changed back to the day shift, he decided to put a traffic cone in front of his lane. He thought, "It will be like putting a candle in a window." Sonia saw it, and their romance started up again. "I almost crashed my car on various occasions," she said, trying to cross several lanes to get to his exit. Finally, she found the courage to give Michael a piece of paper with her phone number as she passed through the toll. Michael called her, and for their first date, they went to see the movie Cool Runnings, and then later they went to an opera, La Bohème, and to a Yankees game. They are now married and living in Kentucky, where Sonia is a voice and music professor at Murray State College, and Michael runs an activity center at a nursing home. It turned out that she had given him her number just in time. A short while later, she moved to New Jersey and stopped using the New York State Thruway. "I might never have seen him again," she said.
How romantic. So this is the story about love at exit 19. Read again the story, okay? Try to understand. Here you have the glossary with some important information to help you understand, okay? Great. Now, in letter B, um, we have a question. Why did their relationship almost never happen? Read the text again if necessary, then answer this question. All right, let's then check your answers. Fantastic. Great. Now, going to the next page, we have exercise C. Read this article again and number the events in the order they happen. Pause the video and answer. All right, now let's check your answers. Fantastic. Now, moving on to letter D, you will read this article again and look at the highlighted words and phrases. Then try to figure out what they mean. Then match them with the 1 to 10 below. Great. Let's now check your answers. Fantastic. Okay, so let's go to grammar now. Usually and used to. So A, think of a couple you know well. For example, your parents or friends. How did they meet? Do you know any couples who met under unusual circumstances? Oh, I would love to hear that. All right, so in letter B, you have a listening activity. You're going to listen to 4 people talking about where they met their partner. Match each one with the place from 1A. So here again, in 1A, we have these places, okay? You're going to match with where these people met their partners. Let's go. So let's listen to it.
3.16. 1.
Sarah and I met in college when we were cast in the University of New Hampshire Theater Department's production of Susanna Centeliever's The Basset Table. We met on stage at the Hennessy Theater during the first play rehearsal. We became good friends, and I started walking her home after rehearsal ended on most nights. We fell in love and continued to date each other throughout college. After we graduated, we moved to Chicago together to start a small theater company. Once we decided to get married, we moved back to New Hampshire and had our ceremony on the stage in the Hennessy Theater where we first met.
2.
Back in 2005, I was doing the online dating thing. But this is no online dating story. One morning, I received an email from a guy named Dan in Chicago. Apparently, he thought I was the perfect match for his friend Greg in Boston. I can't remember whether I was feeling really optimistic or really desperate that morning, but I agreed to email Greg. We exchanged a few emails, met, and got along really well. I thought it was amazing that Greg's friend was able to pick me out of thousands of women. Well, it turns out that Dan wasn't so amazing. He had actually emailed over 20 women for Greg on the dating site. So, to all of the women out there who didn't respond to Dan and take a chance on Greg, thank you. He is the love of my life, my husband, and soon-to-be father of my first child.
3.
Pete and I were both single, and we used to go to clubs together on Saturday night. But then he started going out with a girl who he had met at work. After a few weeks, he said to me, "Why don't you come out with us on Saturday? My girlfriend is going to bring one of her friends." To be honest, I wasn't all that enthusiastic about the idea. I'd never been on a blind date before, and I just couldn't imagine it would be a success. On the evening of the date, I was feeling very pessimistic, and I almost canceled. Pete and I had arranged to meet the girls in a club. We got to the club early, and I remember my friend saying, "Here they are now." I looked toward the door, and I thought, well, I really hope the girl on the right is my date. Fortunately, she was. The evening went really well, and 2 years later, we got married. Pete and his girlfriend got married too, and we're still good friends. We usually meet for dinner about once a month.
4.
I was born in Egypt to an Italian father and French mother, but we came to live in London in the early 60s when I was 20. I got a job in a bank, but I didn't have many friends. In those days, it used to be difficult to meet people if you were a foreigner. One evening, I went to a dance at a restaurant, and I saw this gorgeous 18-year-old girl get up from her table and start dancing. I thought I had nothing to lose, and I wrote her a note saying that I was standing by the window, and if she would agree to come out with me, could she please smile at me? I then left the note on her chair. When the music stopped, she went back to her chair, read the note, and smiled at me. That was how it all started. When we decided to get married, at first her mother was totally against the idea, mainly because I was a foreigner, and also I was 11 years older than Leslie. But little by little, she got to like me, and in the end, she treated me like a son.
All right. Listen again if necessary. Answer. Okay, so now let's check your answers, and these are the places. Great. Now, you will listen to each story again and take notes on how the people met. After that, you can answer, which meeting do you think was the most romantic of all? All right? Nice. Letter D, look at two extracts from the listening, then answer the questions. So, let's read together. We used to go to clubs together on Saturday night. It used to be difficult to meet people. So now, when do we use used to? How do you make negatives and questions? 2. How would you change these sentences using usually if you wanted to talk about present habits or situations? Okay, so if you found it hard to do it, let's go to grammar first, and then you can come back here and try to do it again, okay? Page 141, okay, 5B, present and past habits and states, usually and used to. Let's start here. I will play this audio. I would like you to repeat, okay, after the audio to practice your pronunciation. Let's go.
3.17. 1.
I usually get up at 8 o'clock during the week.
I don't normally go out during the week.
Houses in the suburbs usually have yards.
Do you normally walk to work?
2.
We used to go to the beach for our vacations when I was a child.
He didn't used to do any exercise, but now he runs marathons.
I never used to like hockey, but I watch it every week now.
We used to be close friends, but we don't talk to each other anymore.
That building used to be a restaurant, but it closed down last year.
Did they used to live downtown?
Didn't you used to have long hair?
All right, so now let's check here. In these first examples that we have here, we are using usually, normally, let's see, right? We have usually, normally. So these frequency adverbs that we are using here, they are used to talk about present habits. Então, aqui no primeiro exemplo, nós estamos falando sobre hábitos, né, que nós temos no presente. Portanto, é muito comum nós usarmos o usually ou normally, né, juntamente com o simple present tense e não used to, porque são hábitos do presente, ok? Já aqui no example 2, nós estamos usando então aqui, ó, afirmativa used to go to the beach, né? We used to go to the beach for our vacations when I was a child. Então aqui a gente está se referindo a um hábito do passado, tá? Portanto, nós vamos usar used to, ok? Juntamente com o verbo na sua forma base. Na afirmativa, então, nós usamos o used to. Na negativa, nós vamos usar o didn't used to. Veja que agora o use, ele está como? Ele está na forma base, não mais com ed, tá? Então, didn't used to do. Aqui, mais para baixo, nós temos as questions, né? Ó, did they used to live downtown? Então, a pergunta normal no simple present, né? Usando o did. E ainda uma pergunta na negativa, né? Didn't you used to have long hair? Ok? Então, aqui, nós temos algumas, né, informações extras. Então, nós vamos usar basicamente o used to ou didn't used to com o verbo na sua forma base, tá? Used to não existe no tempo presente, tá? Para isso, nós vamos usar o usually ou o normally. Nós usamos o used to para coisas que foram verdadeiras, né? Sobre um período de tempo do passado. Used to, né, frequentemente se refere a coisas que não são mais verdadeiras hoje em dia, ou seja, hábitos que eu tinha no passado, mas que não tenho mais hoje, tá? For example, I used to play a lot of sports. I played a lot of sports for a period of time in the past, but now I don't. Used to or didn't used to podem ser usados também com action verbs, tá? Então, nós usamos used to ou didn't used to com verbos de ação, que nem o go, o do, né? Outros verbos também que a gente já sabe que são de ação, and non-action verbs, e também com verbos que não indicam ação, ou seja, os verbos de estado, que nem o verbo to be, o verbo to have, to think, tá? São verbos de estado, que nós já vimos anteriormente, né? São verbos que indicam um estado, não ação. Ser, estar, permanecer, ficar, ok? Assim vai, ter, né? Nós podemos usar também o simple past, né, para descrever hábitos do passado, geralmente, né, com um advérbio de frequência, tá? Também pode ser usado. We often went to the beach for our vacations when I was a child, né? Então, aqui a gente pode usar também esses advérbios de frequência para falar sobre, né, os nossos hábitos do passado. I lived downtown until I got married, né? Então, aqui morei no centro até que eu Me casei. Então, aqui nesse caso, a gente não está usando o used to, mas dá a entender que é um hábito do passado, porque o simple past, ele é para falar sobre hábitos passados também, que para ações completas, né, concluídas do passado. Então, nós podemos usar também o simple past somente, ok? Fantastic. Now we have an extra note about used to and simple past. So which one should we use? Let's see. Então aqui, quando devemos usar um ou outro, né? Então nós podemos usar o simple past para ações repetidas ou estados, né? Aqueles verbos de estado que não indicam ação. E o significado, ele é basicamente o mesmo, como acabei de explicar. I used to live in Miami as a child. I lived in Miami as a child, né? Então dá o mesmo sentido, as mesmas frases. But if the action happened only once, olha só. If the action happened only once, or we mention exact dates or number of times, we have to use simple past. Quando nós estamos falando sobre uma ação, por exemplo, que aconteceu somente uma vez, né? Ou nós mencionamos, por exemplo, o dia ou o número de vezes que aquilo aconteceu, né? A gente deve optar por usar o simple past e não o used to, porque acaba que não foi um hábito, foi apenas uma ação que aconteceu no passado e pronto, tá? For example, I went to Paris last year. Né? Então, se foi last year, não foi como se, não soa um hábito, né, do passado. Somente ocorreu uma vez e pronto. Tá? Simple past. Jack called the train to Chicago 4 times last week. Então, aqui também, ele pegou o trem, né, 4 vezes na semana passada. Também não soa como um hábito, foi só um evento, né, que aconteceu. Ok? Now, any more and any longer, né? Em frases negativas para indicar que você não faz mais algo. Nós geralmente usamos então o not anymore, né? Ou any longer, que significa not now, não mais, não no momento, né? Não faça mais isso. Juntamente com o simple present para dar um contraste ao used to, indicando, no caso, né, os hábitos do passado. Né? Vamos ver, então, exemplos. I used to go to the gym, but I don't go anymore. Então, eu costumava ir para academia, mas eu não vou mais. Então, but I don't go anymore. Só para criar aquele contraste, né? Para indicar que hoje você não faz mais isso, tá? Ou I used to go to the gym, but I don't go any longer. Também dando a ideia de não mais. Not now, not at this moment. Ok? E agora, bem importante, quando nós vamos falar aqui então sobre os hábitos do presente, né? Tem aqueles hábitos que nós temos, que a gente já faz bem de boa, porque é um hábito natural que nós temos. E tem também aqueles hábitos que nós estamos tentando nos acostumar, tá? Então, vamos lá. Não confunda used to ou didn't used to do something com be used to do or get used to doing something. Vamos ver então aqui, ó, a diferença, né? Quando a gente estava usando ali então I used to go fishing when I was little, né? Então I used to, hábito do passado. Aqui nós temos I am used to getting up early every day. Note que agora eu tenho a estrutura do verbo to be com used to e então um verbo com ing, né? Um verbo com ing. I am used to getting up early every day, so I am accustomed to it. I always do it, so it is not a problem for me. Né? Então, aqui quando eu uso I am used to e o verbo com ing, eu tô indicando então que eu estou acostumado a fazer isso, é um hábito do presente, tá? Mas quando eu estou tentando me adaptar, me acostumar, nós devemos usar essa estrutura. Lola can get used to living in the US. Aqui, no caso, nós estamos usando então, ó, o get used to. O get used to com o verbo com ing, porque é um costume do presente também, tá? É uma coisa que eu estou, então, ó, she can't get accustomed to it. It is a problem for her. Tá? Então, quando é algo, um hábito que a gente está tentando se adaptar, se acostumar, devemos usar a estrutura get used to junto com o verbo com ing. Essa, então, é a estrutura correta. Alright? Now, let's do some exercises. In letter A, you will complete, okay, with used to, affirmative, negative, or interrogative, plus a verb from the list. For example, Sonia used to live in New York City, but later she moved to New Jersey. It's a positive sentence. I need to use used to in one of these verbs here. Okay, so now pause the video and do letter A. Great. Now you would do letter B. In letter B, are the highlighted verb forms right or wrong? Correct the wrong ones. Here you are going to read these sentences, okay? Pay attention to these highlighted expressions. And you need to decide if they are right, because if they are right, you will put a check. But if they are wrong, you will put a cross. And then you have to correct the wrong sentences, all right? Like this example. Sonia used to see Michael every day. Used to, right? So this is wrong because it's a past habit, and therefore we need to use used to see Michael. Now pause the video and answer these questions. Great, let's then check your answers. So these are the answers for activity A. And then these are the answers for activity B. Great. Okay, so let's move back to page 49. Okay, let's see. Now we have pronunciation and speaking. Let's practice some linking sounds. Okay, so first of all, remember that used to and used to are usually linked and pronounced used to. We pronounce them together. They are linked, okay? Used to, used to. Great. Now listen and repeat these sentences. Remember to copy the linking and the sentence rhythm.
3.18. 1,
I used to live in Los Angeles.
2,
She didn't used to wear glasses.
3,
Where did you used to work before?
4,
They used to see each other a lot.
5,
Didn't you used to have a beard?
Listen again and practice as many times as possible. Okay? B, you will now talk about, you can tell about three of the following sentences, okay, and giving as much information as you can. Do you feel about these people? How do you feel about these people and things now? Okay, so now it's your turn to talk about yourself. This activity will be performed in our online class, okay, so you can practice and have your correction. So you are going to talk about these facts here. So is there a kind of food or drink you didn't used to like at all, but that you now like? So tell me about it. You can write down if you prefer, okay? Read all the other topics and do the same. Remember to use the expression used to. Great. Here we have an example you can use. I used to hate most vegetables, especially spinach and cauliflower. But now I love them and usually eat a lot of vegetables every day. So you can try to do something similar to that, okay? Fantastic. Moving on to page 50 and 51 now, okay? Page 52 start. We're going to focus on vocabulary talking about relationships now, okay? Can you explain the difference between these pair of phrases? So what is the difference between meeting somebody and knowing somebody? What is the difference? A colleague and a friend. To argue with somebody and to discuss something with somebody. What is the difference? Okay, let's see the differences then. Please read and check if you were correct. Great. It's very important to know, to understand the difference, okay, between them because we sometimes may confuse, okay? Let's see then. Vocabulary Bank. Let's go to page 158, okay, and talk about relationships. Starting with people. Now, you're going to match the words and their definitions, okay? So here in letter A, we have some words. Please read the definition and try to see which of these words matches them best, okay? Pause the video and do it. Great. Let's now check your answers. I will play. You will check your answers.
3.19 Relationships. People. 1,
Couple.
2,
Partner.
3,
Fiancé.
4,
Roommate.
5,
Colleague.
6,
Ex.
7,
Close friend.
8,
Classmate.
Okay. Great. So just to check, this was the order here, okay? Fantastic. Now, moving on to verbs and verb phrases. Complete the sentences with a verb or a verb phrase in the past tense. Here we have a story, okay, about how Mark met his wife. You are going to read the sentences following with the pictures and try to get the best verb phrase or verb for each sentence. Please do it now. Okay, let's then check your answers.
3.20 Verbs and verb phrases. 1.
I met Mark when I was studying at Boston University.
2.
We got to know each other quickly because we went to the same classes.
3.
We soon became friends, and we discovered that we had a lot in common. For example, we both liked art and music.
4.
We went out together in our second semester, and we fell in love.
5.
We were together for 2 years, but we argued a lot, and in our last semester of school, we broke up.
6.
After we graduated from college, we lost touch because I moved to Chicago and he stayed in Boston.
7.
5 years later, we got in touch again on Facebook. We were both still single, and Mark had moved to Chicago too.
8.
This time we got along better than before, maybe because we were older.
9.
After 2 months, Mark proposed, and I accepted.
10.
We got married last summer. A lot of our old college friends came to the wedding.
All right. So here's, if you want to, check what you listen to. Great. Okay. So now, if necessary, take a look at a dictionary and make sure you can understand all these verbs, okay? And verb phrases. Nice. Now, in this information box, we have some colloquial language. So let's see here. I went out last night with some buddies. These buddies are colloquial language for friends. I'm really into a girl I met in class last week. If you were really into somebody, you feel attracted to her, to this person, okay? Jane dumped her boyfriend last night. If you dump somebody, it means you tell this person it's over. The relationship is over. My young sister has a crush on Justin Bieber. So having a crush is a kind of sort of language actually for young people, which means being madly in love with somebody, okay, when you were young. And we have some phrasal verbs also very used. My sister and her boyfriend broke up or split up last month. That means they ended their relationship, okay? My brother has been going out with his girlfriend for 2 years. So if you are going out with somebody, you are dating this person, okay? Go out with or having a serious relationship or being in a serious relationship with somebody. You're going out with this person. You are on a date, okay, with this person. You're dating this person, I'm sorry. Great. So now let's go back to page 15. All right. Now we have here some questions for you. You will think of one of your close friends and then you're going to answer these questions here. You can write them down in your notebook or you can try speaking them out loud, telling a friend about them, okay? Great. Now, moving on, we have some pronunciation. This time we're going to focus on the sounds, on the different sounds for the letter S. Listen to the words in the list and how is S or Z S-E, pronounced. Write them in the correct columns. So we have some words here. Okay, these words, they all have the S sound, the S in their spelling. But their sounds, they vary from S as in snake, Z as in zebra, Sh as in shower, or J as in television. So let's see. You will listen to these words here, and then you are going to place them in the right column. But try doing that before you listen to the audio, okay? Let's go. Where would you sort them out? Great. Let's listen and check your answers.
3.21.
Busy.
Close.
Close.
Conversation.
Decision.
Discuss.
Eyes.
Friends.
Lose.
Music.
Pleasure.
Promise.
Raise.
School.
Somebody.
Sport.
Sugar.
Summer.
Sure.
Unusual.
Used to.
Usually.
Various.
Listen again if necessary. Okay, let's now listen and check your answers.
3.22.
Snake. S. Close. Conversation. Discuss. Promise. School. Somebody. Sport. Summer. Used to. Various.
Zebra. Z. Busy. Close. Eyes. Friends. Lose. Music. Raise.
Shower. Sh. Sugar. Sure.
Television. J. Decision. Pleasure. Unusual. Usually.
Very nice. Okay, so just as an extra information here for you, when we are using the word close, it has two different sounds depending on the the meaning you are using, okay? So we have close as an adjective, okay? It's used in snake. For example, my house is close to the store, close to the store, close to, close to. It's the sound of S as in snake, close to, okay? But when we use, for example, the verb, please close the door, close the door. It has the Z, zebra sound. So it's good to remember, okay? Fantastic. Now, in letter C, you're going to answer these questions here. How is as usually pronounced at the beginning of a word? What are the two exceptions? Think about them. What two ways can S or ES be pronounced at the end of a word? 3. How is S pronounced in SION? Let's check your answers. So these are your answers. Okay. Great. Fantastic. Okay, so now we finished this first part. Now let's go to page 51. We have this listening activity then, okay? Do you think the following are true or false sentences? Let's see. Read these sentences and decide if they are true or false. Fantastic. In letter B, you will listen to the introduction to a radio program. According to research, are 2, and 3 are these sentences here true or false? So let's check if you got them right, okay? Listen and check.
3.23.
Hello and welcome to Forum, the program that asks you what you think about current topics. Today, Martha Park will be talking about the social networking site Facebook, how we use it, how much we like it or dislike it. So get ready to call us or text us and tell us what you think. The number, as always, is 555-4318. Martha.
Hello. Since Facebook was first launched in 2004, a lot of research has been done to find out what kind of people use it, what they use it for, and what effect it has on their lives. According to a recent study by consumer research specialist Intersperience, the average 22-year-old in Britain has over 1,000 online friends. In fact, 22 seems to be the age at which the number of friends peaks. It also appears that women have slightly more online friends than men. And another study from an American university shows that people who spend a lot of time on Facebook reading other people's posts tend to feel more dissatisfied with their own lives because they feel that everyone else is having a better time than they are. So, over to you. Do you use Facebook? How do you feel about it? Can you really have 1,000 friends? Are social networking sites making us unhappy? Call in and share your experiences.
Okay. So, listen again if necessary. These are the answers. Great. Now, you will listen to 4 people who call the program. They are Young, Beth, Emma, and Ned. Who is the most positive about Facebook? Who is the most negative person about Facebook? Let's go.
.24.
And our first caller is Young. Go ahead, Young.
Hi. Yeah, I use Facebook a lot every day. I think it's a great way to organize your social life and keep in touch with your friends. I have a lot of friends.
How many friends do you have, Young?
Right now, I have 1,042.
And how many of them do you know personally?
About half, maybe.
And what do you use Facebook for?
For me, it's a good way to get in touch with my friends without having to use the phone all the time. When I'm having a busy week at school, I can change my status so I can let my friends know I can't go out. That's a lot easier than wasting time telling people, "Sorry, I'm too busy to get together." It's just easier and quicker than using the phone.
Thanks, Young. We have another caller. It's Beth. Hello, Beth.
Hi. I don't use Facebook or any other social networking site.
Why's that, Beth?
Well, 2 reasons. First, I don't spend much time online. I play a lot of sports. I'm on a hockey team, so I meet my teammates almost every day, and we don't need to communicate on Facebook.
And the other reason?
I just don't really like the whole idea of social networking sites. I mean, why would I want to tell the whole world everything that I'm doing? I don't want to share my personal information with the world and become friends with people I don't even know. And I don't want to read what other people had for breakfast or lunch or dinner or what they're planning to do this weekend.
Thanks for that, Beth. Our next caller is Emma. It's your turn, Emma.
Hi, Emma.
Hi, Martha.
And do you use Facebook, Emma?
I use it once in a while, but not very much. I only really use it to keep up with friends who have moved abroad or live too far away for us to meet regularly. For example, one of my best friends recently moved to Canada, and we chat on Facebook. But I never add friends who are people I hardly know. I just can't understand those people who collect hundreds or even thousands of Facebook friends. I think it's just competition. People who want to make it seem that they're more popular than everybody else.
So you think the Facebook world is kind of unreal?
Absolutely. I think people write things and post photos of themselves just to show everyone they know what a fantastic time they're having and what exciting lives they lead. But they're probably just sitting at home in front of the computer all the time.
Thanks for that, Emma. We have time for one more caller before the news, and it's Ned. Hi, Ned. You'll have to be quick.
Hi, Ned.
Hi. When I started off with Facebook, I thought it was great, and I used it to communicate with close friends and with family, and I got back in touch with old friends from school. It was good because all the people I was friends with on Facebook were people I knew, and I was interested in what they were doing. But then I started adding friends, people I hardly knew who were friends of friends, people like that. In the end, I had more than 1,000, and it just became too much. It was just too many people leaving updates, writing messages on my wall. So last month, I decided to delete most of them. It took me about half an hour to delete, and in the end, the only people I left were actual, real-life friends and family, and old school friends. I got it down to 99. It was really liberating.
Thanks, Ned. And we'll be back after the news, so keep those calls coming.
Okay. So listen again if necessary. If not, these are the answers. Great. Now you will listen to this audio once again and then answer activity D. Listen again. Answer with Y for young, B for Beth, E for Emma, or N for Ned. Listen and check your answers here. All right. Let's see. These are the answers for activity D. You need to check. Fantastic. Now, a personal question for you in activity E. Do you use Facebook or any other social networking site? Do you agree with anything the speaker said? What's your opinion about it? Share with us. That's great. This exercise in speaking we're going to perform during our online class, but you can get ready for that, okay? So you will read sentences A through F below. You will put a check the ones you agree with, and then put an X next to the ones you don't agree with. Please think about your reasons for them. So pause the video and do it. Great. Okay, now get ready because during our online class we're going to give examples, experiences to illustrate your opinion, okay? And when you're giving examples, you can use these expressions. For example, I have a friend who I've known since I was 5 years old. Na, 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 na. Or, for instance, I once lent some money to a cousin. For instance, means the same as for example. Okay? That's great. So we finished the students' book activities. Now it's time for you to go to the workbook and do some exercises so you can have an extra practice on them, okay? And we start on page 33. So you're going to do exercises from page 33, 34, and also 35. And on page 35, we have a listening exercise, which I'm going to play the audio so you can do this activity, okay? Let's go.
File 5B. Listening.
Hello, and welcome to the show. Now, a lot of research has been done recently about love, what causes it, and what we do to attract someone. Mary is in the studio with us today, and she's going to explain the results of some of these studies to us. Mary, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Let's start with how to meet new people. Some people like to start a conversation with a person they like by saying something funny. But how useful is this?
Not very useful at all, I'm afraid, Jeremy. Research shows that only 7% of attraction has anything to do with what you say. It's the tone and the speed of your voice that make a difference. This makes up 38% of the attraction. But the most important thing of all is body language. This contributes to a massive 55% of the attraction.
So what can we do to improve our body language?
Well, it seems that the best way to make the person you're talking to feel attracted to you is to look into their eyes. An American psychologist did an experiment about this in New York. He got complete strangers to stare into each other's eyes for 2 minutes without talking. Afterward, many of the couples said that they had strong feelings of attraction to each other, and one of the couples even got married.
Really? Then staring must be the thing to do. Is there any more advice on body language?
Well, it's important to have a relaxed body position. You need to show the other person that you're comfortable being with them. Also, try not to be far away from them. Of course, there is a comfortable distance, but try leaning a little closer to them than usual. It will show you're interested and hold their attention better. Don't forget to watch their body language, too. If they position their body in a similar way to you, it means they find you interesting, too. This is called mirroring.
Is there anything that seems to work well when you're talking to someone you're attracted to?
Not surprisingly, it seems that you'll have a better chance if you smile. Anyone who's ever spoken to someone on the phone will tell you that it's easy to tell when the other person is smiling because you can hear it in their voice. When talking to a potential partner, a smile will not only affect your tone of voice, keeping it light and fun, but it will also show the other person that you are happy to be with them. And don't forget that a smile is extremely contagious, and before long the other person will be smiling back at you. This will make them feel happier, a feeling that they will quickly connect with you.
How interesting, and very true. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for now, Mary, but thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
So that's it. Thank you. I hope you have a great study time and let me know if you need any help, okay? See you next class. Bye-bye.